Right, welcome back to SIP TV Finance. It's time to speak to Scott Grant, who is Director at London South East. How are you today, Scott?
Great, is that you?
I'm very well. I'm dying to know what the hot situations are on your website, on your platform.
Fantastic. I always start with the most traded via London South East Trading. Probably a familiar list from recent weeks. We've got Strategic Minerals, Cloud Tag, Eurasia, New Oil and Gas, and Clontarf, although Clontarf is a new entry in our most traded there. I must admit, some credit to our PR lady Steffi this week. I've been a busy boy, and her finger is very much on the pulse, so she's actually helped me construct this list. One thing she actually mentioned to me was Gulf Keystone, which is GKP, not in our most traded list, but apparently they're expecting good news after a recent balance sheet restructure.
Right, so but the private investors still, many of them are still a little bit underwater on that situation, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I must admit, this week I've gone for a bit of a focus on oilies and miners and the such, but then again, we seem to have a lot of people on lse.co.uk very interested in that, so GKP and so on comes into that. Yesterday, Horse Hill Development applied for further drilling and testing on their Gatwick site. That in itself is perhaps not the most interesting information in the world, but if you've got any of these following companies on your watch list or you're invested, it becomes a lot more interesting because they're actually involved in Horse Hill Development. That's UCOG, Alba, Solo, and Regency Mines. So as I said, Horse Hill Development applied for further drilling and testing on their Gatwick site. Keeping on that kind of theme, you've got OEX. OEX's code, if you're on our website, is OEX to tap in the search box. Yesterday, Monday the 17th, their shares were up 13.5%, so a quite impressive rise there, probably due to the fact they agreed with their joint venture partner on their next vertical well in the Cambay field.
Right, so decent development there, and we can see the shares have been bumping along the bottom for quite some time, so this is quite welcome for those along of that stock.
Absolutely. Of course, any good news via an RNS and spreads out to the chat balls. Obviously, people notice that. Yeah, a good dollop of good news can lead to a share price increase. And as I said, 13.5% is not to be sniffed at if you're a holder.
That's right. Any other situations that we should be looking at for at the moment? Any whispers that you've got?
Not necessarily whispers, but I always also mention, so I tend to start with our most traded and finish with our share views programme. You've still got time to watch last week's actual episode with the CEO of Seeing Machines. Their code is SEE. They're into the, moving towards automated driving and cars. Initially, they're into the eye and head tracking technology, so perhaps for people such as lorry drivers when they're nodding off at the wheel, hopefully not, and so on and so forth, moving towards automated cars and the like. So we've got Ken Kroger on last week's share views, which is still available to view. And this week, a bit of advance warning, we've got the chairman of Ferrum Crescent, which is Justin Tooth. So you can submit questions to us. If you actually go on to Ferrum, which is FCR code, on our website on lse.co.uk, you'll see a box there. You can click onto that and you can actually submit your questions for Justin Tooth, the CEO of Ferrum. And of course, I believe, Zach, you'll be undertaking that interview for us, so thank you.
Yes, I will be hoping there'll be plenty of probing questions for Mr. Tooth for me to ask. But
our balls are pretty good, so I'm sure they will be.
Right. In the meantime, Scott Grant, Director at London South East, thank you very much for speaking with us about the hot stocks today.
Thanks, Zach.